Hello. It's really exciting that we will soon be able to return to physical worship. This coming Sunday, the 23rd of August, we are planning on holding our first services in person at Dickson Baptist. So I hope that you're really excited about that. I just wanted to make a brief video just to kind of help you understand how things are going to be and some of the differences and some of the ways that we need to do things. We're putting a bunch of procedures in place to try and help keep people safe during this pandemic. The last thing we want to do is contribute to the pandemic. So while we are very excited about gathering in person, we're making sure that we're putting some procedures in place to keep people safe and make people feel welcome. So we're going to have two services at Dickson Baptist, one at 9 a.m, one at 11 a.m. The 9 a.m. services will also be live streamed on the Dickson Baptist YouTube channel. And you can find the link to that on the Dickson Baptist website if you need to. So again, there'll be a couple of opportunities there to worship. We've allocated people within each service, the 9 a.m. and the 11 a.m, into three groups, group A, B and C. And this allows us to have a little bit more space in our congregations. We wanted to make sure that as we are returning back to physical worship, we actually have space for visitors, we have space for guests, space to invite people in to hear the gospel. Because after all, church isn't just about us gathering and looking after us and ourselves. We want to reach out and bring others in as well. So that's why we've set things up the way that we have. It also allows for a little bit more flexibility with the rosters and the people that are serving and all that kind of stuff. If you are unsure about what group that you are in, please do get in touch with the church office. We've allocated the people as best we could according to their preferences and who was sort of filled in the poll. If somehow we've missed you and you haven't been allocated to a service, please again get in touch with the church office so we can make sure you're allocated to one of those groups. So the 23rd we'll be having groups A and B meeting for worship. The following week will be group B and C. The following week C and A, and it will roll on like that. So what that means is everyone in your congregation you'll get to see week to week, maybe not all in the same week, but you'll see them all. And you can have 2 weeks in person and 1 week at home with the live stream. So again, if you're unsure about what group you are in, please do get in touch. With the groups rotating to, each person has 2 weeks on, 1 week off, as I said. On the week off, we'd really like to encourage you to participate via the live stream on the Dickson Baptist YouTube channel. That's what it is there for. When you arrive at church, this is important, please enter by the front door, not at the rear door at the entrance of the hall. At the entrance to the hall. Now when you arrive, the welcomers are going to ask you to do a couple of things. They're going to ask you if you've had any COVID symptoms or if you've been in a COVID hotspot in the last 2 weeks. If you have had symptoms or if you have been in a hotspot, we would kindly ask you not to attend. The welcomers will actually ask you not to attend if you have COVID symptoms or if you've been in a hotspot in the last couple of weeks. It's really important that we protect everyone who's coming to our services. And if that's you, if you're not able to come because you're not well, please don't panic. Please make use of the Dickson Baptist live stream. We want to make sure that if you are at home, if you don't feel safe to come to the services, if you're in a high risk category and you'd rather stay at home, we want to make sure that you can still participate via the live stream from home. After they've checked your symptoms to see if you've got any symptoms, you're going to be asked to use hand sanitizer and to confirm your contact details. If you're a regular, we obviously have your contact details. We're going to ask you to check them. That is just in case we need to do any contact tracing, and those contact details will be kept for 30 days. When you are there at church, we're going to ask you to maintain social distancing of 1.5 meters with those outside your household. We love each other, but we don't want to get too close just to avoid spreading any germs. Parents with children. Now, parents with children, really excited that Dickson Kids will be meeting during the 9 a.m. service. We've put the parents with Dickson Kids aged kids at the 9 a.m. service. Again, you need to enter via the front door and then immediately take your kids through and sign them in to Dickson Kids. And Dickson Kids will run for the whole time that the service is on. So while church is happening, while the service is happening in one room, Dickson Kids will be happening in the other. Parents with kids, I also want to clarify something. We've been having a talk this week. If you would like to bring your kids to Dickson Kids on the weeks that you are at home, on your home week, it is actually okay for you to come, bring your kids and sign them in to Dickson Kids, and then leave them and come back for them in an hour. Come back for them at 10 a.m. Feel free to make use of that time, whatever you'd like to do. You might want to go out as a couple and have a brunch. You might want to get some grocery shopping done. You might want to do some preparation for some hospitality later in the afternoon. It's up to you, but we just want to make sure the kids are welcome if they'd like to be there. Because they're not affecting the numbers that are in the church, we can actually have them at Dickson Kids every week. So if you'd like to drop them off and pick them up on the home weeks for you, you're most welcome to do that. If you've got little kids that will be with us in the service, we won't be providing activity packs. You'll need to bring some activities for your own kids that you can then take home with you. We won't be distributing the church packs like normal. On a similar note, for everyone, we won't be distributing Bibles to people. Just one of those things of not kind of having multiple hands touching multiple things in the building. So if you are able to bring your own Bible, please bring your own Bible. And if you don't have a Bible, talk to me and I will make sure I get you your very own Bible, but you'll need to bring it week to week. We won't have the church Bibles there for use. Now the service will have live music. The services are going to look different. They'll be shorter than normal. There will be live music, but congregational singing is not permitted. So whilst the band up the front will be playing and singing, there won't be any congregational singing. I know that's going to be hard for some of you. If you're at home on the live stream, sing to your heart's content. You can wake up the neighbours if you want, but while you're at church, in the church building, we can't have congregational singing. But I still hope you are encouraged by actually being able to have live music. There'll also be no morning tea after the service. I know that this is really special time for a lot of us, but just with the risk of COVID and the procedures we need to put in place, we won't be having morning tea after the service. Again, you might want to think about some hospitality you can extend. Maybe you want to invite a family or some friends back after the service. Again, if you do that, please just keep within ACT government guidelines. You can check what those are and see what they are. But I want to encourage you that you can actually be the people welcoming others into your lives as well. So please don't see that as a barrier to hospitality or a barrier to fellowship. After each of the services, the church is going to be cleaned. All the high use surfaces will be cleaned. A lot of us are going to need to pitch in to make that happen. So again, thank you to everyone who's going to be involved in that. I'm really looking forward to meeting in person again. I hope you are as well. It's going to be really great to be back together. It is going to be a different church experience for us. It's not going to be church as we're used to. The congregation's going to be smaller. It's going to feel different because there'll be smaller groups. Each of us is going to need to pitch in and serve a little bit more than sometimes we have in the past. Some of the things we love, like morning tea and congregational singing, they're just not going to be an option. However, I do want to say it is still a chance for us to gather. It's still a chance for us to encourage one another. It's still a chance for us to engage in evangelism and the church's mission. It's a chance for us to hear the gospel and respond to the gospel together. Please don't see this as sort of a second-rate thing. This is the season that we are in, and we want to make sure that we can hear the gospel, respond to the gospel, and share the gospel as best as we are able in this season. Please be praying. I know I say this a lot, but please be prayerful for this new season of our church's life. This is where we will be for, we don't know how long. We want to make the most of it. So please be praying that God would use this season to build us up as his disciples and to extend his kingdom here in Canberra. Please think creatively about who you could invite to the services. We've intentionally set things up so that you can actually invite people along to the services. Please be engaging in the hospitality in your homes as much as you are able, keeping within the ACT government guidelines. You might have some friends that are actually much more comfortable watching the live stream at home with you than coming to church and being a part of the service there. So again, make use of that. You can make your home an extension of Dickson Baptist for Sunday. And while things are going to be different, we are still focused on the same thing: being and making disciples of Jesus in a loving church in our local community and beyond. That hasn't changed. We are still hoping and still praying that God would extend his kingdom here in Canberra through this season. We know that because we are restricted and because we've got procedures in place and things are different, God is not limited anyway. We have no idea what God could do in this season. And now more than ever, we need to cling on to the truth that Jesus is our Saviour and Jesus is our Lord, and following him is actually the best thing that we could possibly do. So again, I want to encourage you as you come. I'm really excited to see you all in person. I'm really excited for us to be back meeting physically. Of course it will be different. We know that. I'm sorry if I've missed any details. Feel free to clarify with the church office if you've got any questions. But I'm looking forward to seeing you all again in person and worshipping together in person. And I'm really excited to see what God will do through this new season, through our church. So thank you. I'm looking forward to seeing you. And God bless.